Welcome to this year's FilmFest panel here at FilmFest 4. I believe that's the right one. Is that the right one, Dan?
I believe so.
I believe so too. Welcome so much. Thank you for joining us. I hope this is slightly entertaining. We've put up a load of questions that people have sent in and ones we've came up ourselves. I have no idea what any of them are, which makes a change because I know everything that goes on TV Random. But we're just here because we want to give back to the TV Random universe how much we love you. So thank you, just briefly, thank you very much for every film you've ever watched, all the support you've done this year and all the years before and hopefully all the years to come. And we've had great fun making the projects we've done this year. We've got some great ideas for next year. And let's just have fun and see what happens. What do you reckon, guys? Yeah, just make it up. So anyway, Dan, good old project manager here, out, finger. Yeah, I do have finger gout, yeah. Right.
Won't tell you what from, but there you go.
That's it. We got passed on to me.
Yeah, we posted online a few weeks ago any questions you wanted us to ask, and a few we put on ourselves. So we've got the list here. I'm just going to read a few out.
See what happens.
See what happens.
Here we go. Looking good.
First question.
Right. Okay.
This is a follow-up question.
He's the best reader here. And he's got eye gout.
So as a follow-up to Titans 3, with Titans 3 on its way, will there be any more, or is it time for Quintus and her to hang up their coats and retire, or could you easily make hundreds of movies?
Ooh, who's this to?
Anyone, I assume to me we use with a name, but anyone I suppose. We'll go with you, Dave.
Okay. Not many people know this, but I suppose as it's FilmFest, what do you guys think of the new logo? Do you like it?
I really like it. Yeah, I think it brings it's like the new decade almost. Well, it's like a decade on now. It's like a more, even though it's always been an adult approach, it's like a more grown-up version of TV Random. You know, it's evolved from say its infant. It's now in its adult stage, and
it's now
being more serious. Where before, when it was the first little Random 1 and 2, it was a bit, it started off a bit like, a messing around, and then the plot developed out of that from the third upwards, and then branches off from there and there. But personally, it's more of a adult approach, I'd say, isn't it? The new cover reflects it.
And that's basically answered my question, because just cut a long story short, obviously the golden age of TV Random was when you're first making the first little randoms that started off me just messing around, and then brought in my friend Sam Gibbs, and we finished off with 2 great films, and then that ended, and then we did the awesome spin-off, me and Dan, with Titans, and throughout it all, it became the foundation, the universe of the randomist world, and the movies around it for the little Random 1 to 5, even though the last 2 are really proper films, where the first 3 are all mess around, and obviously the 2 Titan films created this universe that was the foundation of TV Random and set a standard.
Yeah, sort of put TV Random on the map, and then other films developed from it.
But sadly, for multiple reasons, we have decided that Titans 3 will be the last Titans, I'm afraid. But we hope it will be the best Titans /random film ever coming out next year.
Yeah, I mean, although we're ending it hopefully on a high note, we did have in the pipeline, like they said, potentially hundreds. There was possible spin-offs for different characters, wasn't there, that we didn't look into, go down the road, and very basic scripts, like we did debate at one point a Razor spin-off, didn't we? His entire backstory.
And then me and Brand had a few conference calls and a few meetings and a few pubs over it as well.
And it just never came about, but even though there'll be no more films, that will still always goes on, doesn't it? And there's always new ideas.
I think it's more of a case of leaving it on a high rather than just keep making
don't drag it
ideas. And I feel it became such a big part of TV Random, and we've done lots of other films, as you can see here, and we've got lots of other films that aren't here. But you know, we want to have time to do other stuff. And now, as we're saying, with the new age of TV random branching out into other things, not just films, with the drawing, photography, and all this of it, just feel like it's time we did something else, you know, and have more time to make shorter but equally good films, perhaps, or just completely different universes.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think that's answered that question.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sure.
yeah. So I'll look at the next one. No.
Okay. What is it?
Daniel, do you think you will have trouble getting back into the role of Quintus after so long?
Daniel?
Yes and no. I mean, it's coming up. In fact, as I recall, it's on the 9th. It's literally been 2 years, so it's just gone 2 years. Since,
believe it or not, it will be 3 years by the time we come to make Times 3.
well, yeah, but
it's the
I
same
think
gap between. Sorry, there was the same gap between the end of Little Random and the spin of Titans, which is interesting.
yeah, it's sort of weird how it worked out that way. I think I find the character fairly easy. I mean, a lot of building up to the films, we always do workshops and that sort of thing to try and get back into the character role. But I don't know, the character itself has never really left me. You know, you always have him in the back of your mind, or you always do mess around, like when you're in and outside of the shows and stuff. You'd always hear voices of Vince here or there, or you know, when you're messing around off screen. So no, I don't think I'll have trouble getting back into character. I quite look forward to it, actually.
No, good man.
It'll be interesting to see.
It's been interesting to watch you grow through the character, because I think Quintus was your first proper role in TV Random?
Yeah.
In the first times? I mean, I know you was part of the first Condemned, weren't you?
Yeah, that was more behind the scenes though, but that was like first on screen.
Your first proper bash at a film.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So yeah.
Yeah, so I look forward to see, and we'll try not to push you completely
Off the edge.
off the edge in my tyrant director abilities. Okay, next question.
Tom Craffery, you always said you wanted to go back and do it justice, as you felt personally that the first two were not up to your standards. How do you feel it went? I assume that's to you, director.
Oh, Times 3.
Tom Craffery.
Tom Craffery. They've got times on the brain. Right. For those, now I'm sure many of you within the TV Random universe, and you're all part of TV Random universe, and don't have to help maybe any of them. Anyway, some of you may know that obviously the first Tomcraft was probably my personal first ever attempt back in 2007. It was one of my first attempts to try and make a proper film. It wasn't just, the first couple of little randoms were just me just filming and being crazy and all the rest of it. As I'm quite easily fine being stupid. So it was my first attempt to try to make something different, and I want to make something different, and I wanted to make a horror as I was to make a horror. And looking back, it's bad. To be brutally honest, it was bad.
It wasn't awful.
I think it wasn't awful, but
it wasn't unbearable.
Well, the second one would. Yeah. So
Crash and burn.
It went as the word.
I don't know. His story wasn't terrible. It just
you
had a good idea. It just the execution.
I admit I rushed the second one. I appreciate the compliment. The first one, I suppose, considering I'd never done anything like that properly, and I did it all by myself and all the rest of it, I suppose it could have been much worse. But yeah, it could have been much better as well. And the second one, like you said, it had a good idea, it had quite a good basis, but I don't know, for different reasons I just didn't execute it. So for years I've always been playing the idea, bounced it between Dan, Polo and Brad and anyone else, Terry, anyone else who's
would listen.
that would listen to me talk about Tomcraft, and everybody, especially Brad, who, if you're watching this now, would be like, oh God, not Tomcraft, that was bad, just leave it alone, don't do a Jurassic Park, sorry, probably shouldn't mention that, but don't do a Jurassic Park, make a third one and just ruin it even more, just leave it as crap and don't completely destroy it. But I always had it in the back of my head that I wanted to redeem it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I always wanted to redeem the whole Tomcraft, because it all started off from a horror story I read in English at college about some crazy monster that came to a village and slaughtered everybody. Nice. But so yeah, I always want to go back to it. How do I feel it went? I'm gonna be brutally honest. It could have been better. I'm doing all Gordon Ramsay now. But personally, on the whole, I thought it was alright. Perhaps we could have had a bit more Tomcraft. Perhaps it could have been a bit scarier.
But you didn't know all that until you'd watched it, though, had you?
No, exactly.
What we're doing here was good.
Yeah.
And then watching you thought, oh, we could have had that.
Yeah.
Could have had this.
I mean, there were bits we did do and we didn't add, and afterwards, after filming it and cutting it and, you know, putting it to disc, we thought, we should have added that. But, you know, it was like the first made proper horror since Condemned 3, and it was a different type of horror. I thought it went really well. I liked it.
Watch it and tell us what you think. We've had mixed
like you said, it
reviews
could have
on
been better, but
yeah, our head critic didn't like it. Anyway, next question.
Titan 3. There's been whispers and murmurs all year.
What's that film song?
Titan 3.
Oh.
I know it's sort of been answered in another question, but we'll, it's here, so we'll continue for a moment.
Sorry.
Titans 3, there's been whispers and murmurs all year. Will this be finally made as it's approaching the 2-year mark? As we just said, yes. So
yes, and it will be the last one for
Yeah.
lots of reasons. We'd have a whole separate video just on that, which we'd probably have.
So we'll just get that on briefly, but yes, there will be.
There will be Tomcraft 3. I hope you guys can't wait. I'm looking forward to make it. I'm breaking it.
Titans 3.
Titans 3. What did I say?
Tomcraft.
Alright. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm bricking it because it's going to be extreme hard work, but hopefully we're doing it for the TV Random universe, which includes all of us and all of you, so hopefully it will be
Be good.
the most amazing film we've ever done.
And we'll be the last.
And it will be the biggest film that Poland's ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
To be fair, it'll be the biggest film we've all done.
yeah.
It's going to be that big.
I'm entering uncharted territory.
Yes. What have you made, just briefly, what have you done before this?
I think that's the next question coming up.
It's the next question. Okay.
Okay.
See,
Well,
sidekick powers.
so, Mark, what's it like being the newest member of TV Random? How have you been getting on now that you've been in a few films on screen and worked on a few off screen?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. As you can see, well, can't see from there, but 1, 2, 3, Titans 4, 3 will be 4.
And a
Yeah,
bit of
it's
Jackson
been,
as well.
yeah. Actually, yeah, I forgot about that. Played in Jax. What did I do? Like a
You were Jackson's.
yeah, sort of like a sidekick sort of thing.
Jason.
Sort of like a you got the Batman, I was the Robin sort of thing.
Good analogy.
And then then it's gonna be Titans 3.
Yeah.
Oh, look into the break.
Yeah.
I think you've came on quite. You've done. Trying to think of the right word. Considering like
I'd say you sort of like
evolved the quickest in a way, because before you did any TV Random, you used to hate being filmed or even having your photo taken. So you've gone from absolute phobia of cameras to sort of don't mind being filmed to talking on film to now being part of a massive film.
Yeah, you've sort of like stepped into the role as well.
It's gonna be fun.
So I've been impressed with your thing, and you're getting quite good at the old camera shots. It's been noted by the secret directors.
Head of photography.
That's it, head. Head of something.
Yeah, bring it on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have you on the team.
Cool beans.
Next question.
Any ideas on a new genre of film? What about a comedy? As that is untapped potential of TV Random. Could you see yourselves making this type of film?
Personally, it would be interesting in comedy. I think parts of our films have had bits of comedy. As crazy as it sounds, I've not been that bothered because I find being stupid very easy. What I have been more set on, believe it or not, is a love story. Sorry guys, to get you up there, Jack. But no, without going into this detail, I don't think I've made it at this point. It's all secret. But I do plan to at some point maybe make a film called Heart in the Meadow. And I'm not going to say anything more about that apart from it's going to be very deep and based on personal experience and be very different. And the genre will be sort of a romance, which is something I've always wanted to do. How I'm going to do that, you'll have to wait and see. That's all I'm going to say for now. But yeah, on the comedy, I'm up for a comedy, but I'm not bothered if.
Yeah, there's no reason why we couldn't. It wouldn't. There's no point doing it unless I'd say there were good jokes or something, or there was a good story or plot. Because I don't want it to be funny like it's poorly made funny. Because then the ironic funny is just a bit. I don't know. Ugh.
I think like the most recent thing not going overboard funny was probably Majesty, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Close sort of thing.
Because that got mentioned. Even though it didn't get the views we wanted, it got mentioned quite a lot within the TV Random universe.
Sometimes there's just trying to be too funny where it's just not.
And we weren't even trying to be funny, and yet watching it back, we were laughing our heads off, weren't we, when we were making that? Just us doing that, but we weren't when we were watching it back, and we actually found it more funny. It wasn't even meant to be funny, and yet we were watching it and thinking, actually, this is actually quite funny. It was almost like a comedy by accident. So you could say Majesty is our comedy.
Yeah. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Next question.
Getting tense now.
Will there be a Tomcraft 4?
Never say never.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to answer it. Never say never, because at TV Random you never know. Quite often it will be 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll be in some weird deep mood and I'll just go, Bing! I want a new film! Bing! Tomcraft 4! But until then, I don't know. I'm not in a rush to make, as we've just made 3.
You know what we could do? Well, we were talking about it, weren't we? Whereas if we did a Tomcraft 4, we couldn't have the characters because they were us.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it. You'd have to do another one,
So
another
it's a
sort of
film.
Yeah, like
the first 2, but better.
Yeah, like another sort of horror thing, but just a different title.
Us as playing as actual characters rather than.
Because it wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't someone like Thomas and you were James and Dan was like Rob or something like that.
We were David, Mark and Dan.
So there's only like one film there. It wasn't really scripted, was it? We just did
No, it was more of a ad-lib, the entire.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a basic idea we wanted to do, and then we pulled it off mostly. But yeah. So never say never.
That's cool, man. Yeah, never say never is probably the best.
Whereas in Titans 4, never.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
So it's 2014. How do you think this year has been for you guys?
I would say being the 10-year anniversary of TV Random. Come on, let's clap that, guys. Come on, everybody. 10 years of TV Random. I was a barbecue 16 when I started this year. That's amazing. And now look, I've got an awesome crew with me. Dan and Polo, Tribune and Polo, and the rest of TV Random that helped us out, and the members that came and gone. We will sing Titanic to you later.
I think it's been a good year. I mean, we've had lots of mini projects, and it's been a steady trickle as opposed to, like in the last few years have been quite big films, and so we've had like a series this year, and we've had Tomcraft, and there are other things in the pipeline that will be out before the year's end. So I think overall, it's been a good year. And obviously, we've started new ventures, the photography and the drawings
and
that we're trying to expand our the fan base and different things.
Out,
yeah, so I think it's been a good year.
And hopefully another 10 years of TV Random.
Yeah.
Being who knows who would have sitting on the panel in
10 years.
10 years. I'll have grey hair by then.
You have grey hair.
Have grey, have a beard down to there.
Here's one I forgot about actually. Chat it out. Interesting idea. What made you want to do a chat show, and why did it end? As it seemed popular amongst the fans. I completely forgot about chat out, and it was my idea.
Well, I think it was
just like we were saying, because obviously we were in the process of writing Times 3 and Tomcraft 3 and Half Through the Meadow and Majesty, so we were doing a lot of writing and we didn't have time to do a lot of filming as such, so we were like, rather than waste a lot, well not, I won't say waste, rather than having to do a different internet show, we thought maybe a chat show, because we can all still be getting on with our own thing, like our own projects, and yet we can still take 10 minutes out to have a chat, and then it was uploading it from there. And there was no real reason why we stopped it other than that we started filming.
Yeah.
I mean, there is ideas to it start up again. If not this year, then let's say the start of next year, And feel free to send in topics for us to talk about, and we'll happily talk about it.
Yeah, it got quite a nice little following at one point.
Yeah. We were getting steady trickles every day.
Yeah, I suppose what I was going to say, it sort of branched back from the days when I used to do Random FM back in college days, and liking the whole sound, recording. I suppose I've been recording my voice ever since I was little, which is a bit weird, but anyway. And then I went on to a chat show called Random Live and blah blah blah, which never really took off because it was on a website that no one knew about. But obviously YouTube is a fantastic platform to broadcast stuff and be creative, and the whole point of TV Random was originally for me to be creative, and now for the members to be creative, and now it's this now driven dream to make the world creative, and there's just no way of doing that, and it's easy to do. Gave Dan some editing practice.
Yeah, I did, yeah, because mine was very brief.
And it was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? And there's no reason why we can't do more at some point, or make another chat show, or whatever.
I'll say we'll probably definitely do one for Christmas, so there will be one for Christmas, I say. I'm not sure what topic yet. Feel free to
Christmas.
write in Christmas. Have you been naughty or nice this year?
That makes sense.
But you still get up at 7 in the morning.
But yeah, so I think we've answered that fairly well, that there's no reason why it can't start back up again. It's just that filming took precedence.
I think the film did a case of...
Yeah.
As soon as filming came along, it's like the great one and...
Yeah, that's what happens when we make films.
I know we sort of briefly talked about this again, but it says Majesty was an interesting concept. What was your inspiration for this, and do you see yourselves making any more?
I think that's fairly obvious for anyone. If anyone's ever seen it.
Want to do another one? What do you think, Edie Bordeaux?
Edie Bordeaux accidentally became one of our most loved characters within the TV Random universe within the first episode. I think people were secretly messaging me going, "We love Edie Bordeaux."
And if there's anyone watching this who doesn't get what we're going about, you are Edie Bordeaux.
You are Edie Bordeaux. It's hard to explain, but hang on. Edie Bordeaux. I don't know. I've always had this weird thing where it'd be quite cool to be a king. Those of you who really know me know how seriously I take that. But we've all got to have our weird ways. Yeah, I suppose going along that, and I knew I couldn't realistically make it convincing. So I purposely didn't take it too seriously. That's why it's probably quite funny. It actually turned out funnier than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I personally think, if you don't take it too seriously, it's actually a bit of fun. 4 episodes of a bit of fun. And if you take it as a bit of fun, it's actually really good, really funny, and some really good characters. And, and
so would you make
Polo did good as his hooded person. I would like to. Sadly, we didn't get the views, which makes it
I was going to say that. I know the views, we didn't get quite the views, but...
We got views like Firefly.
But sometimes... not quite. But I think sometimes you're making a movie as much for yourself as it is for anybody else. And I know we enjoy watching it and doing it, so even if it was just the TV Random lot that watched it again, I'd quite happily a season 2 because it was funny.
Well, there you go then, you never know.
Never say never.
Wasn't it the first film that wasn't like planned? We just sat there one night and just...
Yeah.
That was it. Just got a camera and started doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, next week we'll do...
we literally just decided that night
when?
what we were going to do, episode by episode, and just made it up. So we didn't even know what was going to happen, to the week by week for the 4 episodes.
And I enjoyed it because it wasn't serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm not into all the Tudor kind of era and Henry and all that, because it wasn't too serious.
And we purposely just said
Right,
we're just going to have a bit of fun with it, and it turned out alright.
Cool. Next question. What's Jax doing? We hear there will be another part made. Can you confirm or deny?
I will say though, as long as we can think of ideas, there will always be new Jax. I'm not going to say that how many is going to be, because I like to see it's an ongoing universe of Jax.
It tends to be at the moment that we
When we
release
get to
once a year.
Yeah.
It's like a Christmas edition,
Yeah.
like the Snowman, you see it once a year, or it's
Yeah.
like TV Random will bring out a new...
I really like the idea of Jax. I think it's really gritty. I think it's really interesting. I like the whole redemption thing, trying to find out Cooley's brother. Some of my first ever music editing that I've done, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was a nice one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the title.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think it was just a chance. You know, he brought Polo on board with some of his first bit of filming. I think Dan did some of his sort of proper directing in I think the first episode. But it's just a way of experimenting and improving our skills and making something really good. And it's such an interesting mini universe that it keeps people enticed. And we've had some really nice feedback about it, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So because of that, it makes us want to make more. And I think there's plenty more we could do with it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of backstory we've got sort of written down for what we could do, you know. But it's sort of like a back burner, you know, like once.
Or when we've got absolutely nothing, without sounding feeble, when we've got literally no other projects, that's usually what we do.
It tends to be like after doing, say, like next year we'll do Titans 3, and by the end of it we will be knackered, and it'll be probably a month or two later, and we'll be like, so we can stay sort of, you know, stay finely tuned, we'll pull out another episode of Jax or something. It's just something to keep us going and keep the viewers going.
And our most viewed film of all time, because it's on YouTube as well as on DVD, is The Condemned 3, which has about getting on for 500 hits, I think, which for one of our videos is pretty good. Well done, Brian Terry, for producing it.
Yeah. Next question then. Any new film ideas on the horizon, and if so, could you tell us a little bit about them? Well, we've sort of gone over that with
Heartful the Meadow.
Heartful the Meadow.
Which I've said all I'm going to say about.
Yeah. So we'll skip that one. David, as the main director, who as a director inspires you?
Joss Whedon.
Obviously.
I don't even have to think about that. Actually, I'm going to be brutally honest. There's 3 directors that inspire me.
Can I guess?
You can, but you won't guess 2 of them.
Okay, well, the other one's got to be like Cameron.
Oh yeah, I didn't even have him in the 3.
After Titanic, man.
I know.
And Avatar.
Yeah.
He does inspire
And
me.
Terminator.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Get out.
No, I was going to be brutally honest. And,
So you've probably got about 4 then.
I was thinking more directors of people that have either inspired me or have changed the way I look at things. And the reason I say Joss Whedon is because his stuff is amazing. Now I know James Cameron, that's a different sort of amazing, that's on an epic scale. But Joss Whedon, his universe of Buffy and Angel and Firefly and all the other things, Dollhouse and so on, but especially Buffy and Angel,
The Avengers,
I think moulded me as a person on a massive scale. You know, all my teenager years and my early 20s really moulded me. You know, I really took to heart all the secret messages that Joss Whedon planted into that. Without going into too much detail, the other 2 would believe it or not would be Sam Gibbs, an old friend of mine who now has his own theatre company, and as a friend of mine, and as I've seen him in work and directing, and I've always been inspired by him in his directing ability and watching him direct. And he's now trained to also be a teacher as well, I believe. And also, it might sound weird, but my old drama teacher, Mr. Brown from school, because he made me think in a certain way and overthink things, but in a good way. It's hard to explain, but sort of like see things that other people don't and push yourself to levels that, you know, push yourself to newer levels and
push it to the limit.
And pick things apart and work out why things are like they are. And so yeah, so I've always taken that. That's always been in the back of my mind through every film I've ever directed. So that's why I say those 3 over more famous people, because they personally inspire me in the world of acting and directing.
It's interesting.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I was thinking, what would they do if I was directing this film? Write a card. Make it so.
Next question then. Empire Season 2. Where is it? The fans have been asking, will it be on our screens in the not too distant future?
Where is it?
Oh, we ain't done it because of one person.
Where is it?
Where is it because of Paul?
Poor Bob.
There is a season 2.
Yeah.
It is written up. We're just having to
We would
amend the script slightly.
I would like to make Empires 2. We'll have to change it. That's all we're going to say for now.
Yeah. Eventually, we will bring it out, I think.
Yeah, maybe after Titans, because that'll probably clog up the whole of next year, to be fair.
Probably after Titans and One Jacks.
Yeah.
I want to. I've just got
Jack's got to be the filler. Just to fill in the gap.
So yeah, no, it was a good question. I did really enjoy, just briefly, I did really enjoy Empires because it felt professional on a whole different level. I don't know. I think it's the first project we all did as a team, as the three of us. You know, obviously I've done stuff before, done stuff with like just me and Dan. Obviously
stuff with just
Polo. But this was the first thing we did with all of us.
Yeah, it was my first one as well.
And I think it was Polo's first
I
work.
lost my virginity.
He's filming Virginity. He's no longer filming Virgin, but I felt it just felt like a studio because it was all dark. We'd only have like one or two spotlights, or just one person holding a torch as a spotlight. You'd have one person behind the camera. You'd have one or two people being filmed. It felt like an actual.
But that was what we were going for,
set,
wasn't it? We were looking for it to be sort of, gritty and, sort of
It
noir.
felt so professional, didn't it? Just,
yeah.
Sorry.
We put so much. We put so much work into it, trying to, be clever with the shots and the storylines and stuff. And even now, still people who come up to you and like, so what's happening then?
Yeah. No, and it all just came together. And I really liked it. I got some good views and some good feedback, and even my head critic enjoyed it. So he liked it. It must be good. Secret directors, Tammy on TQ, they liked it. But no, I think it was a really good project. It brought Polo into the fold, into the TV Random universe, and I look forward to eventually, potentially making a second one at some point.
Yeah.
Never say never, no.
Oh, the sweat we lost making that.
Yeah, the height of summer, wearing all black.
Yeah.
With very hot spotlights on your face.
Oh,
it's like being on the
unbearable.
stage again. Yeah, but worse.
This is our final question.
Final question.
Daniel,
Hang on, just take it in. This is the TV Random universe. Right, last question.
Daniel, David, and Mark. Which actors inspire you the most?
Polo, I'll let you go first. Just actors.
Or actresses, or both?
One Polo.
Okay, actor and actress.
Polo?
Oh, I'm going to be really boring and say I really don't know, to be honest.
Who inspire you as well?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'll let you go.
I've got mine.
It's quite hard, isn't it?
A single actor?
Yeah.
It's almost like you can't think, but then also loads come into your head.
I don't know, it's a hard one, because when I think of being inspired by an actor, I like to think of people I've worked with. And once again, that would go to similar to my director list. But if you mean like professional ones, well, in the sense of like
Famous professionals.
famous professionals, Picard.
I'm glad you picked him because he was my backup one. Yeah, because he's not just
He's just, I think he's a stage
as well as...
and he's such a practitioner, what we call practitioner actor. He moulds his different characters. Anthony Hopkins, I'll tell you what, one more think about it. Johnny Depp,
yeah.
he's what I call, I prefer what I call real thespians. There's so many actors you see in films that clearly, having been drama school, they've clearly just look fit on the beach and the director's gone, yeah, you're doing my new film. And it annoys me because you'll get people go, have you seen that new series? And you're watching and you think, you, why the hell are you on there? You can't act for shit. Sorry about the thing, but it's true. And there's very few actors, what I consider real actors are people like, your Patrick Stewart, your Anthony Hopkins, your Johnny Depp, Ian McKellen, can't even say his name. He's not a petitioner, but I do like the Great One.
He's not done.
He's a bit like
a couple of films haven't been brilliant.
He's one of those pre-actors that picked up, but unlike the stereotype of he's pretty but he can't act, he actually can, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well,
He was pitched for being like, you know, an action star, and actually it's turned out he can.
He's been
He
given
can do like the Tooth Fairy, which is a bit of a comedy kid.
Yeah, he's been given some roles which ain't really acting, but I've whatever. I've not seen the Tooth Fairy, so
That's a bit funny.
just pushing me off. Great one, like. Nah,
I don't know. Just
ruin the great one. I don't know. I can't.
like, yeah, I would say
I've got my female one anyway sorted.
female-wise.
I'd say Emma Watson for our age, and not just because like of the Harry Potter stuff, although they were epic, but because nowadays of like all the stuff she's doing behind the scenes. You know, she still carried on school. She got a degree and stuff.
And now
she's a UN ambassador. And
yeah,
like,
that's mental. That's
and like that's quite a big achievement. So I'd say big up to Emma Watson. Definitely, she's my female. You know, idol.
Idol, yeah.
Okay.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah, she's another good one.
She's a petitioner actor. I think she's great. Natalie Dormer. She has an energy about her. I'm not just saying that because she's hot.
Yeah, you are.
But she has a energy that draws you in, and you can really believe her characters.
Ty's a good one.
Jonathan Rhys-Myers on the day, an actor.
Sean Bean, as long as he don't die.
Which, yeah.
What don't you die in apart from that show?
Al Pacino, actually, for.
How the hell can you not say him?
Robert De Niro.
Yes. See, there's so many out
Jack
there.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. He's good. He's niche. He's the niche, but he's very good at what he does. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? There's so many good actors out there. I don't know who was you going to say. It was the same list as this goes on and on.
Just goes up. Mark Wahlberg's another one I like.
Which one's that?
Mark
I do
Wahlberg.
know.
You know, he did Ted. He did Shooter. He did
Painting Game.
Painting. Yeah, the
I don't think much
what was
to
that
him.
one? No, I don't know. I like the Wahlbergs anyway.
He just-
And his brother Donnie.
He just plays the same shit.
I don't know.
He's not really. You know, it's like Sylvester Stallone massively, but why? Anyway, so yes, so that's the TV Random Film Fest panel for 2014.
Yeah.
Thank you to the TV Random universe for supporting all our work. Keep supporting it. Be random, be a part of TV Random, pushing the creativity. And special thank you to our People's Tribune, our projects manager, Tribune Dan the Man. Thanks again, Polo. Photography, head photography bloke.
Thanks to Dave for being the
For being
director.
here.
And for being here. Both of you for being here. And me for making these guys' lives hell on set.
And thanks to you for watching.
So
Because without you, there would be no us.
there would be no us. So keep enjoying our stuff. I try our best to keep pushing the levels and making stuff even better all the time. Occasionally going back to old stuff and revamping, whatever. But regardless, TV Random will become a universe. It's all of us, not just me anymore. It's not just these guys, not just all of us. It's all of you as well that make TV Random bold and amazing and creative and all the rest of it. So from us here at TV Random,
Thanks
make it
for
so.